All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Learn Turkish the Easy Way channel. So this is our next session on live grammar classes, and today we will be covering the conditional mood of the past tense in Turkish language. And as you see here on the screen, the possible examples are what? Yaptıysa, gittiysek, gördüyseniz, etc. So just before we start the grammar part or the conjugation part, let's first see where we are at in terms of our lessons. So here, this is our well-known PDF file, right, that combines or shows all possible tense combinations, not necessarily all possible, but this is the major two categories or classifications, right, that are used extensively in Turkish language. So here we had what? We had the simple ones, right, without any combinations, the simple tenses and the moods, right? And then we had the combined versions of that, where we had the past tense combinations, we had the reported past tense combinations, and then we have the conditional mood combinations. So in this class today, we are covering this one at the bottom, because we already covered all before, right? Whatever we covered before. Let me just zoom in a bit. So in today's lesson, we are covering this one, the conditional mood of the past tense, where we add this ise, right? Ise or sase when combined to the past tense in Turkish language. Now, there is one thing that has to be clarified or kind of distinguished. So here above, we had what? We had the past tense of the conditional mood, right? We covered already that in the past, where we were adding the, di, do, to the conditional mood, right? To sa, like you see here. And what we call today is the conditional mood of the past tense. You see, they are the reverse of each other. So this one is the past tense of the conditional mood, where we add the, di, do, to sa. And the other one here that we are covering today is the conditional mood of the past tense. So what is the difference? Let's look at them in our workpad. Let me just go to that first to explain the difference. The first one we already covered in the past, so you know the kind of itself on its own. But what is the difference? So when we talk about the, let me just copy paste it for quicker kind of. When we talk about the past tense of the conditional mood, okay, just make it bigger. So the past tense of the conditional mood, where we have what? Sa, right, plus ed. That is, in English, the translation will be basically what? If I have done, if I had done, if you had gone, if you had brought, right? So it's the conditional. This I think it's the third conditional, right? Where we talk about some kind of a past action, and we regret about doing something, having done something, or having not done something. So, for example, we will say, if you had come earlier, this will not have happened, right? So that's exactly this one, past tense of the conditional mood, where you say, for example, the example will, well, let me just give you an example, one example, yapsaydın, right? If you had done, yapsaydın. So sa plus ed, so its conditional is here, sa, and then you add this the, di, do, and this is the personal ending, you, right? So yapsaydın, if you had done. This is past tense of the conditional mood. The other one that we are covering today is the conditional mood of the past tense. It's the reverse, okay? It's the reverse. Let me pass that one here. That will be like this. So 20, we'll make it 20 size. So basically, it's all about. Now, this one is what? The second one that we are covering today is ed, right? Or the, di, do. Let's make it kind of just one of them. Okay, the plus ise. Now, essentially speaking, this ise and this sa are same things. Okay, they are not different things. Here it's condition, and here it's still condition. But here you see they are kind of a cross use, right? So here the auxiliary form is isa, and here the auxiliary form is ed, and we already covered them in the previous classes. I'm not going to talk about that, but the point over here is they are reversed here. Okay, they are reversed and the meanings are different. So for this one, the meaning is what? For the conditional mode of the past tense that we are covering today, the meaning is if you have already done something. Okay, so for example, you may ask your child, if you have already done your homework, we can go to cinema. Okay, yaptıysan. So you see now it will be yaptıysan. Just yaptıysan. So you see, yapsaydın is if you had done it, then something would not have happened, or something would have happened. Here, if you say yaptıysan, not yapsaydın but yaptıysan, it becomes what? If you have already done it, if you accomplished, right, whatever you had to do, now we can go, then we can go. You see, it's not about hypothetical, it's not about dreaming. Like, for example, if you say, if I were rich. No, it's not that. If I were rich, I will distribute money to the poor. This is not that tense, okay? Conditional mode of the past tense is about an action that has already been completed and finalized. The only thing that you're asking here is if. You're asking if something was done by somebody, if something was done or not, okay? So here it's not about hypothetical situation, it's about already completed action, and you are checking whether something was in this way or another, okay? And again, the example will be what, like I just gave. If you came early, for example, right? So sorry, not if you came, because in English it's the conditional, right? It's the second conditional. So if you have come earlier, right, then you probably did this, okay? Or I want to say this. If you did it by yourself, I want to say it, okay? So here it's finalized. You already did it, and the other person wants to clarify if you did it by yourself, okay? If you have done it by yourself, actually, then I want to see it, okay? So that's the difference. Don't confuse them. They are different things, completely different things. They're not same. They're not even close to each other in terms of meaning when it comes to English translations. And that's how we will be using this tense, okay? So let's now go to the grammar part. Grammar part, let me open that page for you. Okay, here we will, as always, we will start with affirmative, right? Then the negative, then interrogative, and then negative interrogative. So what's the rule of making this tense? You have the verb root, which means basically a verb without mak endings. Then you have the over 8, actually not only 4 but all 8, because it also can be t, tu, right? So the, di, do, past tense endings, or alternatively t, tu, depending on the consonant at the end of the verb. Then you add ise and then the personal ending, but here you have to be careful about what? About the fact that you all have to combine them, okay? They're never used in this kind of ise format. You always have some combined, all of this are combined into one word, that as you see, for example, here and here and here, okay? So here we have two verbs as an example, yapmak and bilmek. So let's start with yapmak. So yapmak, just you have t here, right? Yaptı, ise, and the person ending m. So how do you combine it? It becomes yaptıysam. So yaptıysam becomes yaptıysam. This is the final what you have to have when you spell it. Okay, when you speak in colloquial language, in spoken language, as well as in written language. We almost never write them separately. Okay, unless it has to be. So yaptıysam is the result here. For you, sen yaptıysan, o yaptıysa, biz yaptıysak, siz yaptıysanız, onlar yaptılarsa. Not yaptısalar. Okay, that's meaningless. It doesn't exist in Turkish. You just reverse it and make it yaptılarsa. Onlar yaptılarsa if they have done it. For bilmek it will be ben bildiysem, sen bildiysen, o bildiyse, biz bildiysek, siz bildiyseniz, and onlar bildilerse. Okay, this one, bildilerse. This is how we make affirmative. It doesn't have it, I mean, it doesn't make any difference based on the verb, so it basically will be what? You pay attention also to the fact that what? We have only sa or sa alternatives, right? We don't have any sum, sum, whatever. It's only sa or sa, as you see here. Okay, here sa or sa. No other alternatives. And also pay attention to the fact that we also have a fusion letter y here when we combine yaptı plus isem. Okay, here we add fusion letter y in between. Yeah, and it will be probably the case for all other verbs, okay? Gittiysem, gördüysem, yaptıysam, verdiysem, anladıysam, and so on and so on. The negative will be, we have to add what? We have root, right? Then we have ma, me, one of these negative, two, and we don't have any other. There are just two versions, right? So basically, ma, me, then you say, have again, what? Just a second. Okay, so then you have di, do, one of them, right? And by the way, because there is no consonant ending in the hard consonants, right? Like t, f, h, ş, it will always be di, do. Okay, you can't have tu. So gitmediysem, görmediysem, yapmadıysam, and so on. It all do. Okay, which is different than the affirmative where you may have tu. Then again, ise and the personal ending. So here you have what? Yapmadı. Here ma is just deliberately made. I just make it specifically capital to separate them. So yapmadıysam becomes yapmadıysam. Yapmadıysam becomes yapmadıysam. O yapmadıysa, biz yapmadıysak, siz yapmadıysanız, and onlar yapmadılarsa. Okay, yapmadılarsa. For bilmek it will be sen, ben bilmediysem, sen bilmediysen, o bilmediyse, biz bilmediysek, siz bilmediyseniz, and onlar bilmedilerse. Okay, if they have not known. For the interrogative, now again, as in the previous tense that we covered in the previous class, it doesn't have this interrogative doesn't exist. Okay, in terms of the grammar, it doesn't exist. Same as the negative interrogative. These two conjugations don't exist, but we only use them in spoken language to clarify something. Okay, to clarify, for example, let's say you may say, for example, sen bugün sen geldiysen, if you have come today, right? Bugün sen geldiysen, o gelmesin. Then let him not come. So, and then you want to clarify. Ben geldiysem mi? Right? Geldiysem mi? Do you mean if I have come? So if you really want to clarify something by adding just question word here, mı, mi, mu, mü, that's the only way you can use this question or interrogative case. Other than that, you don't, because it's conditional, right? You can't have a plain sentence as a question. It's all about condition here. Okay, yaptıysam mı? Do you mean if I have done it? So, for example, you may ask somebody, yaptıysan itiraf et, right? If you have done it, just confess it. İtiraf et. Yaptıysan itiraf et. And then you may be very much surprised about this question. Yaptıysam mı? Do you mean if I have done? Come on, right? That's exactly when you can use this interrogative form of this tense. So what do you have here? Yaptı, then yaptı, then isem, then question word mı, mi, mu, mü. And how do you combine it? It's just yaptıysam mı, right? Sen yaptıysan mı? O yaptıysa mı? Biz yaptıysak mı? Siz yaptıysanız mı? And onlar yaptılarsa mı? For bilmek it will be ben just a second, yeah. Ben bildiysem mi? Sen bildiysen mi? O bildiyse mi? Biz bildiysek mi? Siz bildiyseniz mi? And onlar bildilerse mi? Okay. For negative interrogative, it will be the same as the just negative, but just the only difference is mı, mi question words, okay, that we add. So yapmadı isem mi becomes yapmadıysam mı? Sen yapmadıysan mı? O yapmadıysa mı? Biz yapmadıysak mı? Siz yapmadıysanız mı? And onlar yapmadılarsa mı? For bilmek it will be bilmediysen mi? Sen bilmediysen mi? O bilmediyse mi? Biz bilmediysek mi? Siz bilmediyseniz mi? And onlar bilmedilerse mi? Okay, so this is basically the grammar. So let me just going back again. This is affirmative. This is negative. This is interrogative. And the last one is negative interrogative. Okay, so this is the grammar part, the grammar of how we construct this conditional mood of the past tense. Now let's go to our work file, okay, where we talk about some kind of example as always. So let's now talk about what the first as the example for the first person singular, how we transform it. I have as always 5 verbs here. They are always the same verbs. So affirmative for the first person singular will be what? For oturmak it will be oturduysam. You see, now we have do right here, do plus the fusion letter plus sam. It's always am and then because it's the first person singular. Okumak will be okuduysam. Sevmek will be sevdiysem. Görmek will be gördüysem. And vermek will be verdiysem. That's how we transform these verbs to be the first person singular affirmative. For the negative, it will be what? We just add at what? Ma, right? Oturmak becomes oturmadı. Oturmadıysam becomes ultimately oturmadıysam. For okumak, it becomes okumadıysam. Sevmek, it becomes sevmediysem. Görmek becomes görmediysem. And vermek becomes vermediysem. For the interrogative, oturmak becomes what? Basically, so you make it what? You make these ones here, right? Just you add what? Just question word. That's it. No other difference here. So you see, oturduysam mı, right? This one oturduysam here above becomes oturduysam mı. Okumak becomes okuduysam mı. Sevmek becomes sevdiysem mi. Görmek becomes gördüysem mi. And vermek becomes verdiysem mi. For the negative interrogative, let me just bring it down here. Negative interrogative will be, let me zoom in it. Oturmadı, right? Oturmadı isem mi? Oturmadıysam mı? So oturmak becomes oturmadıysam mı? Okumak becomes okumadıysam mı? Sevmek becomes sevmediysem mi? Görmek becomes görmediysem mi? And vermek becomes vermediysem mi? Okay, so this is basically this 4, right, in perspective. If you want to see them on one screen, okay, this is how they basically look like. First person singular, okay, it means what? That these are just for first person, and of course you can make all of this second person. Like for example, here you will add just what? Change that to n, right? This will be again n, second person n. So this will now second person singular, okay? Oturduysan, okuduysan, sevdiysen, gördüysen, verdiysen, okay? So let me just undo it for break. So this is it, okay? Now I just have 5 examples for you to kind of practice it a bit in your mind. So here what do we have? Sen vermediysen o zaman kim verdi? A sentence. What does this mean? So imagine you claim that somebody tells you that I didn't give it to anybody, okay? And you are surprised. You're saying, if you didn't give it, then who gave it, right? For example, imagine that you are not supposed to give an ice cream to the child, and the person comes and says that the child has an ice cream, and he says, why did you give the ice cream to the child? And he says, what? I didn't give it. And then he returns saying what? If you didn't give it, then who gave it? Okay? Sen vermediysen o zaman kim verdi? That's exactly how you can use this. Okay, so this is, you see, it's negative, right? If you have not given it, or if it's not you who gave ice cream to the child, then who is it? Okay, then who did? That's basically what it means. Then who gave? The second example is yaşlandıysanız üzülmeyin. This is second person plural, right? Yaşlandıysanız, siz, right? You, plural or formal. So if you grew old, or if you got older, got old, don't worry, don't get sad, don't get upset. Yaşlandıysanız üzülmeyin. We have a solution for you. Okay, so if you have got old, don't worry, we have a solution for you. That's another use of this kind of potentially where you can use it. Third one, imagine you promised your child to do what? To go to the cinema after the homework is done. Okay, and you come and say, what? If you have done your homework already, we can go. Okay, let's go. Ödevi bitirdiysen, now it's plural, right? Here it's plural. It means probably a couple of children. So, ödevi bitirdiyseniz gidebiliriz or gidelim. We can go. Let's go. You see, we talk about here the finalized, right, action, that if we are wondering if something has already been done or not. It's not a hypothetical or a dreaming case. Ödevi bitirdiyseniz gidelim. If you have done your homework already, then let's go. The fourth example, daha önce geldiysen onu tanırsın. So imagine you went to some place and or you go with somebody to some place and he tells you that if you have ever come here before, daha önce buraya geldiysen onu tanırsın. You will know him, you will recognize him. Okay. So you see here it's about wondering if somebody has already performed a specific action in the past or not. Daha önce geldiysen, if you have done it before, if you have come here before, right, then you will know him, you will recognize him, that person. Daha önce geldiysen onu tanırsın. Onu here is accusative case, of course, right? Ödevi here is accusative case. Just to clarify about the noun cases. And the last example I have is artık ne yaptıysan. Now this is very much used in Turkish language as a phrase, as a kind of a rhetoric. Artık normally means anymore, no more, already, okay? But here it means kind of a God knows what you have done, okay? Artık ne yaptıysan. So for example, imagine your mom screams and yells at you, you come downstairs and your father looks at you and says, artık ne yaptıysan, why is she screaming, right? So it means probably you have done something, whatever you did, that she is so screaming, so much screaming, okay? So artık here, I didn't translate it specifically, it's kind of a very weird kind of a case here, it's not translatable, but here this artık means or adds a meaning of what? God knows, okay, God knows what you did, whatever you did. Artık ne yaptıysan, okay. Now here you see it's not necessarily the example that you see in the previous sentences. It's just a structure, okay. It's a structure, and this structure can be used in different ways like this, without any kind of a meaning, a condition specifically. So whatever you did, okay, here you see it's condition, right? It's the conditional mode of the past tense, but ultimately you don't have any condition here specified. It's just a structure, okay? So that's it basically for today. It was a compact class, but I really want you to understand the difference, okay? Especially when it comes to this conjugations, okay? So here we talk about today we talked about this one, görülen geçmiş zamanın şartı, the conditional mood of the past tense, okay? This one. And the next class or on grammar will be conditional mood of the reported past tense. Now, in terms of meaning, it's not that much different from this one that we covered today, okay? So conditional mood of the past tense is not that much different from the conditional mood of the reported past tense. The only difference is that it's reported, okay? And if you have studied Turkish language for a long time already, you know that there are two past tenses, right? The, di, do, and mush, mish, mush, mush. So essentially speaking, it will be very much similar meaning for our next class, okay? This is our next class. So we are left with 3 classes for this whole conjugation list, and then we are done with this, and then I probably will start with the working on some kind of a participles. Okay, participles, for example, yapacağın zaman, yapacağın iş, gideceğin yer, right, and so on. This kind of structures that we use extensively in Turkish. But first we have to finish these tenses. So we are left with these 3 here down at the bottom, and then after completing that, we will start new topics. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the video and also enjoy the rest of the evening. For some of you, tomorrow is Monday, so have a nice week ahead. See you in the next classes. Bye bye.